Hi, good evening to our audience members in Asia, afternoon to people joining us from Africa and Europe, and good morning to colleagues from the Americas. Welcome to North Carolina State University's presentation on the Excluder. My name is Jocelyn Tsai, and I'm the coordinator for Nancy State University. I'm here joined here with Sarah Hennessy, a consultant from Triangle Environmental, and I wanted to thank you all for taking the time to learn about our innovative device and its estimated market size. While we are excited to talk about our development, we're especially interested about discussing ways we can partner with you all and collaborate. We want our invention to help serve as many people as possible and invite you all to think about how you and your organization can help bring this device to scale. A bit of housekeeping, this presentation is 30 minutes long, including time for questions. All audience members are muted, but we encourage you to ask questions in the chat box. And at the end, we'll address them one by one. Our slides will be available to registrants, and we are also recording this webinar. We're also joined by Tate Rogers of Triangle Environmental, Nicola Green of Opero, and I think Francis de los Reyes, the PI of this project, should be joining us and would be able to answer some questions in the chat box too. So yeah, let's go ahead and start. So I wanted to first give a bird's eye view on the global state of on-site sanitation, especially specifically on how many on-site sanitation facilities are there and how they are being emptied. This past summer, NC State partnered with Triangle Environmental to estimate the total sanitation service needs for the world's 772 million on-site sanitation facilities. Here are some highlights from our open access publication in the Journal of Environmental Management. Using JMP data, we found that about 43% of the world's population rely on on-site sanitation facilities, like you see here. But the distribution is not uniform across the globe. About 72% of residents in sub-Saharan Africa use on-site sanitation. And about half of these facilities around the world are emptied manually or non-mechanical means. This is a large public concern since manual emptying is usually performed by people without proper protection. It's a messy practice that exposes people to a number of diarrheal diseases. Now, we've been in the field for the past decade and have seen numerous inventions, but none have scaled, and the need still remains huge. And the reason why people are forced to empty with buckets and shovels instead of mechanical pumps and vacuum trucks is primarily due to two reasons. The first reason is that pit latrines and vacuum trucks, is that vacuum trucks might not be able to access the pit latrine. And these septic tanks and latrines can be in very dense peri-urban areas with very narrow pathways. So it's getting machinery towards near the site for emptying can be quite difficult. The second reason, and it's a huge reason, is that a lot of these pits are filled with solid waste. You can see, this operator here, he's manually emptying a latrine in Kenya, and he's holding up a large piece of cloth. And the thing is that in the absence of a way to remove trash, in an absence of a way to remove trash, it pretty much forces emptiers to remove the sludge and the contents of the pit by hand. So what's our solution? NC State created the Excluder, which is a pump accessory, and it's patented. It hooks on directly to a pump hose and removes fecal sludge. The device itself does not pump directly, and it's important to note that so this unique rotating head, and I'll bring up the laser pointer right here, and this is a close-up of it, that is what is actively keeping trash out, so that it doesn't end up clogging machinery. And since it attaches at the end of a hose, we're able to better access pit latrines and septic tanks in narrow spaces, and it allows for a mechanical means to service these pits. So this is a video. Then this is a video sludge that we collected through the excluder in Kenya, and you'll notice that the sludge is smooth and free of trash. And the fact that there's no trash makes it easier for downstream processing. So it's as sludge goes, it's pretty clean. So how's the device used? There's two ways. The first way is that it can link directly to a vacuum truck. And the advantage here is that the excluder widens your customer base. Pits that were previously off limits are now able to be emptied. And the excluder prevents blockages and reduces time needed for fishing, leading to lower emptying costs. The next case, which is a much newer use case, is linking it off the shelf pump. And the advantage here is that an emptying company no longer needs to get an expensive vacuum truck to service pits. So if you include a pump, a pickup truck, and a storage tote, in total it costs less than $20,000, and you can start removing fecal sludge alongside with the folks that have a vacuum truck. And if your team wanted to perhaps rent a truck instead of buying a truck outright, a business can start using this method for far less than $20,000. Yeah, we're especially excited about this configuration since it's a much cheaper option, and for the public. And it makes people a lot less reliant on manual emptying. So let me go through just an illustration of the use case for the excluder. I'm going to go ahead and turn on my laser. So this is an abbreviated set, how it operates in the field with a vacuum truck, but if this is with a pump, it's very similar. What happens is that an operator comes in, brings in the main shaft of the excluder, puts it into the pit on top of a stand, and then the main motor or the drive is brought in and set on top through cam locks on the main pipe. And then the workers then attach it to a source of power and attach hoses directly onto the vacuum truck. And of course, if this was with a pump, this is where the pump would connect. And so once you have a source of power and a pump or a vacuum source, you're good to start going. Sludge is being extracted over time, and the sludge then goes directly into your truck or your storage tote. The main shaft of the excluder is about 2 meters long. You'll notice that there might be still some sludge and trash that might be a little bit beyond reach, depending on the depth of your latrine. And what we have here is actually a 1 meter extension so that you can attach it towards the bottom so you can reach the bottom of your pit better and extract the sludge directly. Now, at this point, a lot of people ask, so what happens to the trash at the bottom of the pit? And that's an excellent question. So this is a picture of the trash that was removed after emptying with the excluder. This was all consolidated at the very bottom. And what we found is that by consolidating trash at the very bottom, it creates a new service. So for an additional fee, a sanitation team can remove the trash at the end of emptying and argue that trash shouldn't be disposed in the pit in the first place. This puts a cost to the customer for solid waste that's been improperly thrown into the pit. And of course, it's up to the service provider to determine how to charge for trash removal. We worked with a pit emptying team in Madagascar where the company told its workers that the individual employees on site can offer to remove trash. And if a customer agrees, those employees can keep that fee to themselves. And we've heard that customers have been willing to pay for this extra service. So with that, I think there might be some questions about the exact product specifications. So I'll hand this off to Sarah, and she'll walk through the details of the device along with the expected market for the excluder.
Thanks, Jocelyn. Hi, everyone. My name is Sarah Hennessy, and I'm a consultant with Triangle Environmental, supporting North Carolina State's work on the excluder. So diving back into the excluder specifications, as Jocelyn alluded to earlier, the excluder consists of three main components: an electric control drive and an extension pipe, which gets inserted into the pit latrine. This pipe can reach to a depth of 3 meters within the pit. The pipe houses an internal auger, which helps remove thick sludge from pits, while the external auger at the base of the pipe provides for trash rejection. We have two models of the excluder. One is made from stainless steel for durability and weighs approximately 40 kg. Our second version is PVC and is lighter at approximately 20 kg and slightly cheaper. The electric drive component requires a 220 volt power source, and we standardized the connections so that the excluder couples to a 75 millimeter diameter hose, which is characteristic of most exhaust or truck hose lines. So the excluder can screen to 9.5 millimeters, and based off of a series of pilot testing, we determined it's capable of pumping up to 300 liters per minute, but that does vary depending on the strength of the pump it is connected to and the sludge thickness. So to date, we've pilot tested the excluder in 8 different countries in sub-Saharan Africa and Southeast Asia, and have incorporated service provider feedback into each of our 4 prototypes to improve the function and usability of the excluder. Across our pilot sites, we've removed approximately 70,000 liters of sludge safely from 75 on-site facilities and provided over 500 people with access to safer emptying service provision. Our current manufacturing partners are based in India, but are only capable of low volume productions. So they have carefully documented the manufacturing processes for a smooth handover to a larger manufacturer. With a low volume of units being produced, we estimate the stainless steel model to cost between $3,000 and $3,900 USD. This price has fluctuated significantly during COVID, partially due to the price of stainless steel. Our PVC model costs approximately $2,500 to $3,000 USD. However, both of these costs should come down considerably once manufacturing is done in larger volumes. So in 2020, the excluder won the Patents for Humanity Award from the US Patent and Trademark Office, and we have another patent currently filed for our latest product version. In addition to winning the Patents for Humanity, the excluder has also won RELX's 2018 Environmental Challenge, which recognizes 2 exceptional projects annually that set a benchmark for innovation, involve local communities, and can be scaled to address urgent water and sanitation challenges. So looking at an excluder's impact, we estimate that a pit latrine emptying team that uses 1 excluder annually enables 3,500 people to access safer sanitation services, 600 cubic meters of sludge to be safely removed, and 2 service providers to have improved working conditions and subsequently improved health. So zooming out from one excluder's impact, we wanted to better understand the potential impact the excluder could make in certain geographic regions or countries. Going back to that open access article that Jocelyn mentioned, which used 2017 JMP data, we were able to estimate the total number of excluders required based off of the current number of on-site facilities, both pit latrines and septic tanks, in given geographic regions. So pictured here is a snapshot of the tool, and the calculator allows you to input your expected market infiltration rate in that upper left orange box, and then you can filter by the region or country where you work or is of interest. Using a series of realistic assumptions, including that pit latrines are emptied on a frequency of every 3 years, and one emptying team can service approximately 600 pits per year, the tool estimates the number of excluders required, the residents accessing safer emptying services, and the volume of sludge you could mechanically empty each year. This tool could be further used to estimate the number of emptying teams required in your given geographic region and how many parallel devices you might need, like exhauster trucks. So further details on how we made these estimates for the calculator can be found at the provided reference on the slide. And we will share this tool after the webinar so you can investigate your impact potentials in the areas where you work. So to zoom in and give an example using the calculator, we looked at 2 high priority regions for emptying service provision. We selected Eastern and Southeastern Asia due to the area's high population numbers and concurrent high number of on-site facilities. Sub-Saharan Africa is of interest due to the region's need for improved sanitation services of upgrading from manual to mechanized service provision. The estimates shown were calculated assuming a 15% market infiltration rate of the total on-site sanitation market. And as you can see, the impact numbers are high. Using 5,500 excluders across Sub-Saharan Africa, you could provide safer emptying services for over 58 million people. So we know the excluder has a lot of promise for creating more dignified jobs for service providers and improving community health. But what about the market opportunity? The Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation sponsored a third-party market assessment where neither North Carolina State or Triangle Environmental were involved. Sanitation experts were consulted to provide realistic assumptions for the model. The model calculates the business case for manufacturers specifically. Estimates were made to calculate the percent of the obtainable market or the market which could be reached. Both excluder use cases were investigated, and it was estimated that approximately 50% of the exhauster truck market and 30% of the off-the-shelf pump market could be obtained. The off-the-shelf pump obtainable market is lower because it is still emerging and requires development in policy, regulation, business investment, formalization, and behavior change, along with others. These obtainable market percentages were used as part of a sensitivity analysis to estimate the expected profitability or value of the excluder to manufacturers. And so the good news from the third-party market assessment is they did find that there is a profitable business case for manufacturers. It's important to note if the manufacturer is able to partner with a large NGO working in the emptying space who can help increase uptake through subsidies, investments, marketing, education, behavior change, and regulation, that obtainable market will be much higher. In addition, as that emerging market of fecal sludge develops, there will be growing opportunity to create higher impact and grow a larger profit. This third-party market assessment went into a lot more detail, and the profitability does vary by different geographic regions. So if you're interested in learning more about your specific market opportunity, please do reach out to us after the webinar for more details. So in summary, not only does the excluder offer a profitable business case for manufacturers, it also provides a technical solution to service challenging pits, which are inaccessible to exhauster trucks or contain high volumes of trash or thick sludge. The excluder can help professionalize and dignify an essential industry by providing upgrades from manual to mechanized emptying service provision. And it can also improve public health and working conditions by decreasing the contact both service providers and communities have with untreated sludge. So our ultimate goal for the Excluder is to find a commercial partner or a network of partners that will champion the Excluder and bring it to market. We are currently in conversations with some potential commercial partners in different geographic regions, and we are seeking more private companies interested in expanding their own product portfolios to include the Excluder. Complementary to commercial partners, we're looking for market access partners, customers, and funders who can help open this emerging market. If you are interested in learning more about becoming an Excluder commercial partner or champion, please reach out to us. You can reach us at info@excluder.net, or you can fill out our contact form on our website. And with that, I would like to thank you for these slides along with the Excluder calculator via email. If you have any immediate questions, go ahead and put them in the chat box and we can go ahead and open up the floor to discussion. Again, thanks for your time, and I'll go ahead and hand it back over to Jocelyn. Sorry, Jocelyn, you're on mute.
My apologies. Yeah, I'm scanning the chat box for questions. Q&A. So Sachin Sahide asks, can this be used in areas such as mountainous regions where houses are placed? Let's see. Oh, I see that there are questions that are being answered in real time, where houses are placed in a cascade manner down the slope. And Francis, the principal investigator of this project, has answered that the Excluder can be carried manually by 2 people. So it's going to be a little bit of a challenge to bring a vehicle up to a mountainous area. But so long as it's within 20 to 30 feet of the pit, it will be able to access it. Let's see.
I would also add to that, Jocelyn, that there are more mobile treatment systems that don't include like vacuum trucks, such as the evac, which I think I see. I think it's been updated, but I think I see Dave on the call. So where if you needed to carry in the Excluder is purposely made mobile so that you can kind of carry it into any situation. You just need a pump that can also reach the area.
So I'm going to go ahead and answer some of the questions that are in the Q&A that are not yet answered. Anthony writes, what is the expected design life of the Excluder in years, assuming daily usage for the stainless steel and the PVC options? So the stainless steel, we estimate it's going to be about 10 years of life. The PVC one is built for, the weight and the cost of the unit, and it's going to be lower, so about 5 years or so, half the life. But we expect that major components of the PVC part, PVC Excluder, should be able to be swappable more easily and cheaper. Jeanette asks, can the full unit be manufactured locally in most areas? If not, what specialist parts are required? So there are a number of parts that are that do not need specialty equipment, but there are a few things. So for instance, the internal auger and the external auger might need some specialty equipment, and that might require importation, but it really kind of depends on the capacity of your region. But we have built a previous prototype of the Excluder in Nairobi, and that did not have any, we did not have any run into major concerns there. But yeah, the device is currently made in India, and if folks are interested in thinking about manufacturing device in specific centers, we're more than happy to set up a call and talk about in detail what's required and see if it's a good match or if it might need to be built elsewhere. Are there any other questions?
Pradnya had one
Oh,
asking you.
what if the depth of the latrine is more than 3 feet? Can the excluder have the capacity to reach greater depths? So that's a great question. So it is possible to add extensions, but we haven't tried that yet. But what we found is that 3 meters. So the 3 meters is covers a lot of the latrines and septic tanks that we have seen in the past. But if we hear that there is interest to make it longer by a commercial partner, we're happy to work with the commercial partner to find ways to make it longer. But a lot of pit emptying groups empty by volume, and so it's sometimes needing to go past 3 meters is not necessary. It really kind of depends on the region that you're in, but for the most part, 3 meters covers most of the use cases. Emmanuel, how much manpower do you need to operate the excluder? Do you suppose the excluder can be mounted on a trolley to enable further access to areas where no vehicles can go at all? So the 2 people need to operate the excluder. I'm a little bit unclear what a trolley is, but what we have designed in the past is actually linking it to a much smaller portable unit where essentially there's like a collection barrel that you attach it. So you basically attach the excluder to a smaller vacuum that's not attached to, say, a truck. And that can be transported in smaller vehicles. We're focusing primarily on vacuum trucks and these off-the-shelf pumps with a tote because there's a large, more mature market at this moment. But we do know that it is possible to make it more transportable and in a smaller footprint.
Sorry, go ahead, Tate.
I was just going to further that. I mean, but like I mentioned earlier, it is meant to be, the reason it's designed the way it is so that each piece can be carried in by one person. And then it's also, the reason it's 2 meters is so that you wouldn't have to, the main piece is 2 meters, is so you won't have to remove the roof of a pit latrine. So we made it to where we really focus on access and also the design is focused that it goes together and comes apart very easily, so that assembly and disassembly is quick, and as well as making cleaning very easy at the end of the day.
Jeanette asks, how big are the holes at the bottom of the excluder where the sludge enters? It is 9.5 millimeters. So yeah, anything larger than that gets kept out. So it can be rocks, bags, bottles. All right, any other questions?
Tim had one, Jocelyn. Did you face any challenges with accessing reliable electricity supply at site?
Yeah, so we've been asking emptying teams to bring a generator, but we have been hearing a lot of interest in getting essentially a battery powered excluder that's fully integrated into the body. And so we are exploring this and seeing how we can put this together. Yeah, we went with the generator because it is widely available, and you can find gas-powered generators easily. You know, we do recognize that you know, to reduce the footprint is better. This excluder is able to run off of building power, but we also recognize that that is not necessarily widely available. But for the most part, it's we've been able to use the generator bit and plan on integrating a battery TANS line for the next version. Is the pump battery powered? What if areas have fluctuating electricity? Pradney, I hope that my last answered that question. And the pump itself is supplied by the customer. We don't, the excluder hooks onto the pump directly. So the pump is not part of the excluder. All right. Well, thanks again for your time. If you have any other questions or thoughts, please do reach out at info@excluder.net. We're going to be sending a copy of this recording along with our slides, and we'll also be sending a quick survey. Thank you so much for taking time in your day, and we look forward to hearing from you and different partnerships opportunities. So hope you have a great rest of your week.